Jay from Team DMA. Quick video. This video is going to be regarding Loza's, I believe it was like the Sydney event that just happened. And Loza came back and you can visit his channel. If you would like, I could leave a link to his channel, but basically he went and he played Dark Mission List. And I wanted to recap it real quick before we begin the video. Like I've said many times before, I'm not interested in attacking anyone or going against their profiles or anything like that, or being negative in any way, shape, or form, because first of all, that's loser talk, and then second of all, it does no good. It's just a waste of time. So let's take a look at his build. So here you have the 2 Dark Mission, 2 Illusion of Chaos, and I mean, mostly that's like a staple. Everyone plays that. The ratios that change here are when people are switching over to the top tier version of the Dark Mission, which is minimizing the Dark Mission engine and splashing other engines into it to make it more powerful. And he actually ended up cutting one of the Magician Souls, and then he cut 2 Rod. And basically, he's just searching for what you see on the bottom, which would explain why. Because in the top tier world, Circle Eternal is not really much. So he's just really searching for the servant. There's nothing else. Now there could be some other cards that he's searching, but like I said, they're not there, so there's nothing to search. So it's self-explanatory. So when you minimize the Dark Mission engine, it really is to go supposedly, right? Because it won't always be true, but it's supposedly to go top tier. So what that means is, like I've said before, like the Dark Mission branded, you have to select a top tier deck first, and then you can splash the Dark Mission. So it's not backwards, because a lot of people are thinking that they're building a Dark Magician and then they're splashing something else in it. That is actually incorrect, and it's actually wrong. What the way that people are having success, because this isn't based on what Jay says or what Loza says or anyone says. This is just based on facts in reality. So you see the meta ranking, and you see the decks, the representation, the win rate, their status, and you see where they stand. And people who are having success, what they do is they're taking decks that are high ranking on top tier range, good representation, and that can win YCS. So you have a strong deck, and then they splash Dark Magician. Now the community hates that because they want people to stay to pure Dark Magician, but people are not understanding. It's like anything in the real world, like imagine, here's a good example. You can have like a super cool car, but just because it doesn't have the right tires, the car's gonna suck because it's not gonna get any grip. So who cares what type of engine? Who cares how much horsepower? Who cares everything? If the tires are not good, you're not going nowhere, and you're gonna suck. Your car's gonna suck. Everything's gonna suck. So somebody else is gonna beat you with better tires. So that's kind of the same thing that's occurring here. That you can have the whole car, but you got to put some good tires. So that's what a lot of people are doing. They have the car and they're just putting a little bit of Dark Mission splash in there. And it's fine because it's still representing Dark Magician. And that's what the community don't seems to understand. They continue to attack the people and get angry and this and that. And you're not going to please people. So just like Loza, just like everyone else, you play what you want. You have your own deck. And I've always said this because it's not based on my opinion. It's not based on what I think. It's based on reality. And what is the reality? The end result. You're just trying to win a lot of games. You're not trying to lose a lot. So you're going to do what you have to do to win. So if that means minimizing the Dark Mission engine, then so be it. But you got to win. So we're going to move forward from there. Here he has the ref package. Loza is like, he loves Dragoon. And the issue with Dragoon that I've always said, because I tested against top tier decks. Because a lot of, not just Loza, like there's a lot of people, thousands and thousands of people who play Dark Mission, and I get accused of being fake. But the funny thing is that I'm the one of the only Dark Mission players that tells you Dragoon is trash. And it's not that I'm attacking Dragoon. It's just that I play against a lot of top tier players. And top tier players, they laugh at Dragoon. Dragoon is trash to them. And people in the beginning were attacking me. I got a lot of backlash together with Loza, together with the Dark Mission community, because I was telling the truth. And people started finding out that I was right. And this isn't today. This has already been 4 or 5 years ago. This is old news to me. A lot of the players are 4 or 5 years behind. They still haven't learned this. I learned this 4 or 5 years ago. This is old to me. Dragoon is not strong enough. All the top tier decks, they laugh at Dragoon. He's nothing. He's worthless. So Dragoon does good against Rogue. It does good against like basic meta and even like top ranking meta. But once you get into top tier decks, like decks that are actually winning YCS events, Dragoon is trash. There's nothing he can do. They out it so many ways. And in my channel, that's how you can tell my channel is real, because in my channel, I show you everyone trashes Dragoon, but I still win my duels. And what the Dark Mission community is lacking is when their Dragoon gets trashed, they lose. Not me. When Dragoon gets trashed, I still win the duel. So this is what happens when you put all your hopes in Dragoon. The top tier players beat it, but when you play against everybody else, you'll win. But when you enter the top tier decks, they're gonna trash you. They're gonna trash you because Dragoon is nothing. You have to have other things. And this is a Dragoon. This is a Dragoon Turbo. So on top of that, he's got here the Nadir engine. You should know how that works. And then here, I believe some of these cards were main and some of them were side. And then here's this extra deck. So if you look at this closely, like people can argue all they want, but in reality, all you have here is Wenda and the Dragoon. There's nothing else. There's nothing else of value. I know people are going to argue and say there is, but there isn't. Not Axis Kotaker. He's trash. You can FTK OTK, but he's trash. I played him. He's not good enough. And when you're going top tier, they won't even let you link climb. Like, it's hard. So all you really have is the Dragoon and Wenda. You don't have nothing else. And in this situation, once you go to top tier, you get like a rude awakening, and that's fine. But if the question is, what is like the best way to play Dragoon and quickly? Yeah, then definitely I would say a Dragoon Turbo is the best way, because it's a Dragoon Turbo. You're going to have a lot of Dragoons out on the board. But I believe that from my testing, that if you can have Dragoon and a lot of negates on interruptions behind him, it's excellent. And you got to have, when you test at home, because I have to end the video, when you test at home, make your opponent get rid of your Dragoon and see what happens. If you lose after your Dragoon's out, yeah, that's not good. You're not going to stand a chance against top tier players. So when you come to my channel, like I said, this isn't tooting my own horn or nothing. Like, I'm being honest. Come to my channel. Everyone else Dragoon. Everybody. I've never had Dragoon out in the field, and very rarely, like out of 100 duels, twice Dragoon will win. Everyone just outs him. I've had 2, even 3 Dragoons on the board, and they out them all. So you might be wondering, how do you do it to win? I set up my deck to where I have Dragoon without having Dragoon. I have a spell negate Omni. I have a trap negate Omni and a monster effect Omni without Dragoon on the board. So when I have Dragoon on the board, I have it double. And then when they out the Dragoon, the deck has the power, because I splash in there some Bestial. And there's a lot of other boss monsters in my deck, not just Dragoon. And the boss monsters are broken, and they play together with the deck. And you have to know a way to out everything. Now, like I said before, I'm not gonna sit here and lie. The Snake Eyes Fire Kings is hard. I beat it, but I can't beat it consistently. It's hard to beat. So in order to beat it, you have to like change the deck more and more away from Dark Magician. And there is ways to beat it, like going first. That's never the issue. The issue is going second. And there's a lot of cards that help, and one of them is evenly matched. And and that's gonna end it for the video. Quick recap. Shout out to Loza. Good job for building a deck. Good job for what he loves. And what is that? Dragoon Turbo. And and he himself said it. He said, unfortunately, I had to cut a lot of Dark Magician cards. And before I end the video, we're gonna take a look at the Dark Magician engine again. And this is it. You can say this is it, but it's not true. This is just for the Dragoon. This is the engine. And to be honest with you, if I were to like recommend to someone, like I want to play Loza's deck, and people were to ask me like, what would you recommend, Jay? To be honest with you, I would play three souls. You can play 2 or 3 rod. And for the spell trap, you can play other cards that banish. That way you don't need the Eternal Soul. But you're gonna have to play other cards that can reborn Dark Magician from the graveyard. Either through quick play or through monster effects or spell and trap. And you can get rid of the Eternal. That's not a problem. You can keep the circle. If you don't want the circle, then you can just replace it for something else, like Fenrir. But you're gonna have to play other cards that remove, like I said, other substitutes. And you can't say much about Loza because he didn't have some of the cards, right? He didn't have like Chaos Angel and SP Little Knight, other stuff like that could have helped him make more plays. But before I end the video, I think he could have won. Well, if he says he won all his duels, I think he said he won all his duels, right? I don't remember. But I mean, if he won all his duels and he just lost to Fire King's Snake Eye, then that's great. That's great. But when he goes to a bigger event where there's a lot of top tier decks, it's gonna be harder. Because everyone there treats Dragoon like trash. Because in the event he currently went, he claimed that Dragoon won him a lot of games. But when you go top tier, Dragoon can't win. Everybody's playing Spellcaster, so the village doesn't do anything. And that's pretty much for the video. I mean, I'm not saying anything you don't already know. I'm just recapping. That's how the Dark Magician deck is. And the profile that I make, I lean more towards pure DM. So I'm doing the impossible, and still the community doesn't like it. The community doesn't like it. And I have duels. You can see my duels against Fire King Snake Eyes, so that you can see they out everything I play. So the only way that I win duels is I play cards that steal monsters. I told you guys this before. And I'll play like the village and summon limit. And I'll play some Omni Negates. So what they do is they summon, they try to play like a Snake Eyes. I'll either pop it or take it. And then there's nothing else they can summon. So they're locked and it's an auto loss. And that's as far as they go. The other times, I'll just combine it with Circle Eternal, Skill Drain, and some other Floodgate. So they'll like pop something, but I'll trigger some other cards and it'll lock them. That's the only way that I get an auto win against them. But yeah, that's gonna be the end of the video. And like I said, Dark Magician, people are starting to minimize it and play other cards. For Loza, I would recommend, to be honest with you, like I know he loves Dragoon and no one's gonna get him out of it. Um, I will recommend him to play a small engine of Bestial. That way he like if he won all his duels, he doesn't need anything, right? But if in reality he didn't win many duels, he's gonna need something floating behind the deck, which is some bestials. And on the extra deck, you're gonna need other boss monsters, not just Dragoon. People are gonna say, yeah, well, Axis Code Tucker. Axis Code Tucker is not gonna cut it because you can't just go into Axis Code Tucker that easily. He has to link climb, but sometimes the opponent have a lot of effects. And sometimes, even if they stop the access code and the Dragoon, what else do you have? You know, and that's something that I learned, like in my profile. I think I have my profile here. Something that I learned on my profile. Look at my profile. My profile has a lot of boss monsters, and you're like, what do you mean? A lot of boss monsters. Well, I had the access code talker in there and I took it out. But I usually have access code talker, the Scareclaw, Tryhard, and it plays SP Little Knight. But on this game, I replaced it for Phantom. But the SP Little Knight with the Chaos Angel, and then I play the Dragoon and the Dragon Knight. So the deck itself is negating everything, stealing monsters, special summoning like crazy, unaffected by spell and traps and monster effects. They can floodgate. There's a lot of things they can do. The evenly won't work. Super poly won't work. Like I'm negating everything. So the deck is going around all of that. And when they get rid of Dragoon, it doesn't affect us at all. Zero. The deck almost never wins when Dragoon actually. So when he comes out, he's a cherry on the top. But if he doesn't come out, we don't even care. We never need him. We never need him. And when you go second, you can see on the bottom the cards that I side in or side out. One of the cards for me, and I have to end the video, that helps me out a lot in my combos is Azealia. Like I said before, I do a lot of popping with my deck. And then Azealia does more pops. And I do like a lot of popping. And that's why I put Phantom Dracosac there just to have more pop. Like I have a lot, this deck does a lot of popping of cards. And the rest, they're stolen. And they can't just blow and destroy the backboard because a lot of the cards are there to negate them. And before I get to Dragoon, I have other cards that get to Dragoon. There's like a way to win left, a way to win right, a way to win forward, a way to win backwards, side to side. Like it's covered one way or another. And when I have to, like I said, I really do have to end the video. But when Loza and a lot of people tell you that some of the decks are not back row heavy, that's already a sign. That's already a sign that they are not top tier because a lot of the top tier are back row heavy. Look at the YCS, and they are. They have a lot of cards. They have spells together with traps. Fire Kings has a lot of spells. People will not say it. Look at mixtures of Runic that when YCS, they have a lot of spells. Some of them are sitting there. Look at Labyrinth. I'm not talking about rogue decks. I'm talking about YCS champions. They already won. They're back row heavy. So that's why you see some of the cards for me mained. I don't care about the weak decks. I care about the top tier, about the first place YCS versions. And that's how I found out that Dragoon is trash. And people are still saying that I'm fake. But I'm dueling against the strongest decks. Some of the decks having 10 negates per turn, and I still win. But after in the video, that's gonna be it for the video. And like I said, tip of the cap to Loza is gonna keep working on his deck. I would just advise him, like I said, to play a low number of Bestial and include other boss monsters, not just Dragoon. And he should be fine. So when they out Dragoon, he's gonna have follow-up plays. And that's gonna be it for the video. And with that being said, you guys, Dark Magic Attack.